Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be drawing Maka and Soul from Soul Eater. So to start off, I'm using a sepia colored pen for her hair, just to add a little bit more tone compared to using a black multiliner. And now I'm using a black multiliner for the rest of her outline and inking. So I've been binge watching a lot of Soul Eater lately on Netflix, and it's gotten me wanting to do this illustration. So I'm doing something a little bit different. Normally, whenever I would transfer a drawing onto the good paper, I would just transfer it with pencil. But today I'm going, instead of going from pencil to inking, then erasing, I'm just going straight from pencil to inking. Because I've been having an issue whenever after I would trace the outline in pencil, then go into inking and do some erasing, there would be pencil residue left on the paper. So whenever I'd color it over with the Copics, sometimes it would bleed and drag all over the illustration and just look bad. So using this technique just to hopefully result in a cleaner drawing. Drawing details of Soul. So I really like this anime because I like the colors that they use. They use a lot of blacks, whites, and very neutral-ish colors, and very, very, very few bright colors. Like in Maka, her skirt and shirt are the only really main bright colors. The rest of her outfit is mostly black. I guess you can count her eyes too. Her eyes are like a bright green. Her skirt's a bright red, and then she has a muted yellow shirt under her black jacket. But the rest of her outfit is mostly dark color. It's just black and white, really. Her boots gave me some issues, but I think they turned out okay. I'm happy how they turned out. And so after I use the light board, I'm taking it off and just doing some last final details with the Copic multiliner. And then later I'll do the zigzag red and black on Soul's on the scythe blade. Paper for swatching, trying to get her skin tone just right. It's too dark. Perfect. Forgot her ear. Add that in like last minute. Improvising. And so I wanted to try to do a more realistic structure almost for her skin with the shading. Like how you'd have a jawbone and a slight shadow under your upper lip and all of those details. I'm really happy how her skin turned out, actually. And a darker shadow. So I noticed a lot in this anime, like both in the anime and some of the artwork from it, that they like to over exaggerate a lot of the characters. Like you'll see in some scenes you'll see Soul's scythe blade, the curve would be sometimes tighter, and in other scenes it would be like a lot wider. It's depending on what they need for the scene, which I thought it was an interesting way to, in more way to show exaggeration, which is okay, because, that's kind of what animes are. They have an over-exaggerated figures and objects, which add to the storytelling. So You'll notice I'm not using a black for her coat. I'm actually using a really dark, warm gray. I generally don't like coloring in with black because I think black is a little harsh. So I just use gray. And as I was saying before with the over-exaggerated characters, I try to do just a slight over-exaggeration with her coat because I didn't want it just to be a straight line from one edge to the other in the back part of the coat. So I kind of wanted to make it look a little bit like it's waving. I almost forgot her arm. Whoops. It's watching out her eyes. Using a really light green and another for a shadow. If you notice in the anime, she doesn't have pupils, which freaked me out at first, but makes my job a little bit easier here. And I looked around in my yellow swatches to try and find the right tone for her hair. And later I figured out her hair isn't really yellow, so the ivory and the earth tones matched a lot better, so that's what I'm using, and I'm using khaki for some of the shadows. And a little fun fact that the ruler that I'm using is actually a piker rule, which is used a lot in graphic design and typography. So it has all the point sizes for letters, or like for type. Like when you go into Microsoft Word, you can choose what point size you want. And the ruler is used to show like how tall a point size is in print. So I notice I like doing a lot of my illustrations like in the middle of the day when my cat's asleep, because otherwise she would be just jumping all over the table, and you'll see her in the frame sometimes. She's in a few of my other videos too. Her boots, I made her boots a shade lighter than her jacket, so they'll pop out just slightly, because I was afraid that if I use the same tone of gray for her boots, they would just melt into the jacket and you couldn't really get the definition of them. Now I'm just doing some sole, the head of the scythe. Try to give it a little bit of a metal look. Need to practice that more. But I like how this turned out. Making the lines a little bit thicker. Sorry, my hand's in the way. I always catch myself before I make mistakes. I was about to put gray in his eye. So I used the same color red for Maka's skirt and then used the dark red for the pupil of his eye. And now I'm just adding some last minute touch-ups and then a few highlights on Maka's eye and a little bit on Soul, just to add more to the metal look. There's like a tad of green for her necktie. But anyway, thanks for watching my video, and I hope you like and subscribe.